to talk about an interesting gambit called the King's Gambit. And it is actually an interesting game if you're an aggressive player and want to surprise your opponent. So let's just take a few examples and see how it goes. So here we are making a standard move, uh, pawn e4, the response comes back, and this is where the King's Gambit start. We move the pawn up 2 squares. So we are encouraging this pawn to take this. So let's say it just takes that, and at this point we have several options, and we're basically moving our knight, so we don't want the queen to start giving check to us. So that is one option you can have. And here the black is starting to attack with the pawn and also defending this. So we just decide to make a normal move with the knight, and let's say the black also does the same thing. Here we are also attacking this particular pawn through a bishop, even though it's defended here. And now this moves forward and attacks our knight. And in this example, we basically ignore that and move our bishop up here to attack this square. And we are also attacking this pawn. And let's say we sacrificed our knight, so our knight is gone. At this point we can take this pawn, and this pawn still has an option, and it will take this, and now it is actually threatening to take this bishop. So at this point in this demonstration I'm showing you is that we take this with the bishop and attack the king. The next thing we do is with the queen we are giving a check. At this point the king has moved to the side to avoid the check. Then we move our rook, and we are attacking this pawn at this stage. He decides to move the knight here, so he has a square. The king has some square to go. At this point we give another check with the bishop, and the king is able to move back to that square. And now we deliver another check with the rook, and they defend with the knight. We take that knight and give a check, and obviously this can be taken by the pawn, and that's what happens. And at this point we can give another check, and now this is almost game over, and here's it. So one thing you have to worry about in King's Gambit is that if you don't play it carefully, you can easily lose the game as well. So there is actually a good chance for black to win in the King's Gambit as well. But I'm just showing you an example of how doing the King's Gambit as white you can win. So the other game I wanted to show you is called the Immortal game. This was played during the 1850s, and that was the time when the chess romantic era was there, where it was not just sufficient to win, but you had to win with style. And so that is this game is actually a good demonstration, and this is called the Immortal game. So let's see how this went. This is a pretty standard move. Then we do the King's Gambit as we explained to you. Then the bishop is coming, and here we see the check being delivered. So we move the king out to escape this check, so that's one option. At this point this bishop is being attacked, but we decided we can take this. It's probably a mistake. Then this knight is coming up as a development move. Now we are move the knight so we can attack this queen. The queen is moving back here, and just to defend this is how it was played in the original game, so I will leave it like that. But I think there's an option to move it 2 squares instead of just 1 square. And here is the knight moving to the end square, which is probably not the greatest move, but that's what it was played in this Immortal game. And this knight is also moving here. This is probably not the best square possible. And the queen is coming here to essentially attack this knight. So it is escaping, and it went up here. and now decides to challenge of the bishop. At this time the threat is ignored by the white, and they just move this pawn up here trying to attack this knight. So the knight is moved back at this point, defending more this with the bishop. Oh, sorry, with the rook, and then the bishop is gone. We just sacrifice that bishop. Oh, here you go, and we're attacking the queen, and this pawn is actually defended by the knight, so it can be taken. So the queen moves back to the only square it has available, and then we just attack it again, and the queen will again move forward because that's a good option for it right now. And the queen is now coming into attack on this point. This place is being made for the queen, so queen has an escape square. So not the best move for the knight, but that's the only place it could go. And then we challenge the queen. As I discussed, the queen will move back to this square, and then the knight is coming to increase the threats, attacking this rook. The white decides to ignore this and essentially try to attack this queen, and the queen has taken this and is also now threatening to take this rook and deliver a check. So the black essentially ignores this and moves the bishop over here. Or sorry, the white ignores it and moves the bishop here. So one rook is gone, and then the white ignores that and just moves a brilliant move of moving the pawn up. And then the second rook is gone, and the white is trying to escape from the check. And at this point, this is making some space and defending this square, so the king won't be given check from here. So at this point, with one knight, we are giving a check. The king has moved here. Now we will see a check coming by the queen. So there's a check, and we sacrifice the queen with the knight here. And at this time we give the fatal blow of the check, and that's a checkmate. And so the white only has 3 minor pieces left, and each of them is actually controlling one square where the check is being given. So that's one of the reasons that this is a pretty interesting game, and it's called the immortal game in chess. So only thing you want to watch out is you can play the king's gambit, but it has to be carefully planned when you are playing the moves, because the black has a pretty equal chance, and usually at the grandmaster levels or higher levels of chess, king's gambit is normally not played. Thank you, and you have a great day.